Hi, I'm Amy, and welcome to The Minutes. Thanks for listening today. It's great to have you along on The Minutes this week. This is a City of Thunder Bay podcast. You can find The Minutes wherever you get your podcasts, including our YouTube channel and our website, thunderbay.ca/The Minutes. If you want to keep your finger on the pulse on what's happening at City Hall, hit that subscribe button. The Minutes takes a look at what happened at Thunder Bay City Council meetings, but this week we have a special edition of the show where we'll look more into fire prevention. We never want to make that call, 911. However, if we end up in an emergency, there are highly trained emergency services available to help us out. They save lives every single day, and we appreciate everything they do for our community. I'll be joined in just a minute by the Acting Division Chief of Fire Prevention and Investigation to talk about more ways to keep you, your family, and our community safe. Okay, today I'm joined by Kevin Anderson, Acting Division Chief of Fire Prevention and Investigation. Hi, Kevin.
Hello.
Thanks for stopping by today.
Pleasure, Amy. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn some stuff about fire prevention. Mm-hmm. To get things started, I thought it'd be interesting to hear about your background and how long you've been involved with Thunder Bay Fire Rescue.
Okay. Well, this is my 18th year with Thunder Bay Fire Rescue. I started on the fire truck suppression, as everybody has to. And in 2012, I switched over to fire prevention. There was an opening, so all the inspectors, so we have different divisions. We have fire inspection, we have mechanical, we have training division, and we have administration division. So everybody starts in the trucks, but they can move to a different division if they so wish. So this opportunity came up. It was a challenge, something new, so I decided to join up.
Okay, so I'm going to just talk about some topics, and then we can get into
Sure.
Each item. So I understand there's some new carbon monoxide alarm rules coming. And can you just tell us a bit about that?
Sure. Well, first of all, carbon monoxide is a poisonous gas. But it only occurs when there's a fuel-fired appliance, a wood stove, gas furnace, or an attached garage next to your house where there's the potential for it. So if you don't have any of those, in West Fort and certain areas of town, they have something called the core floor, where it's just a single level and all the heating is all electric. So if you have a hot water tank that's electric, the heating source is electric, no other fuel-fired appliance, then you don't require any carbon monoxide because there just isn't any. But most places do have a gas furnace and that. So prior to January of 2026, carbon monoxide was required outside all sleeping areas. And that's because when you're asleep, you wouldn't know. You can't smell it. You can't see it. So if you're sleeping, you could get poisoned and not wake up. When you're awake, you'll feel nauseous or feel sick, a headache. So you'll know something's wrong. So they've changed the law now on every level of a house or apartment where there's the potential for carbon monoxide. Still has to be the potential, but now instead of just being out to sleeping areas, they want it on every level, even if there's no bedrooms.
Okay.
So it could, most people will have to get more. Some people already have them at every level of the home, but some just have the minimum. So, and even in apartment buildings, it used to be just in the apartments that were adjacent to the furnace room or boiler room. Now it's going to be every single apartment.
Wow.
So,
okay.
So it'll be a learning curve,
Yeah.
post-change, but we're going to work on education with the help of you.
Yeah.
Getting it out there so people
Yeah.
know. We don't want to, give people fines or anything unless we really have to. It's more education.
Yeah. So are carbon monoxide alarms, is it a plug-in into the wall or is it hardwired?
So there's all those different types, right?
Okay.
So the original ones that when they first came out were always plug-in. And plug-ins are low. But carbon monoxide actually fills a space that's not a high or a heavy gas. So that's why you can get combination smoke and CO alarms. Smoke alarms have to be in the ceiling because smoke rises. So you might find ones that are hardwired with a smoke alarm or plug-in or battery operated on their own. And again, they can be anywhere low or high, but the smoke alarms have to be high.
Right. So say I just want to, I'm in an older home and I want to buy a plug-in one. Where would I get that from?
Any your local hardware store.
Okay.
Always sell them, yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. And so say I'm sleeping and the alarm goes off, what do I do?
Well, you have to know why is the alarm going off, right? So on these newer devices, they'll actually talk to you. They'll say fire, fire, or warning carbon monoxide. So either way, you have to get out or you have to investigate what's going on. So if you hear carbon monoxide, you got to get out of your house, call 911. We're going to come with our detector. Sometimes it's a false alarm, but sometimes it's not. You don't know, so you have to get out and call. If we come and we get a reading at the door, then we'll call the gas company, and they're going to figure out, okay, why is there carbon monoxide? Something's wrong with the furnace, or something's wrong with the wood stove, or something's not working as it should. Okay. Carbon monoxide is produced when there's incomplete combustion. So normally something will burn, and it will release carbon dioxide, which is still poisonous, but not as poisonous as carbon monoxide. And a furnace obviously usually vents that outside. So if something's wrong with the system or it's plugged or whatever, that carbon monoxide or dioxide might come into the house.
Okay. So in January, I need to make sure I'm all set up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why people should always, inspect their wood stoves or furnaces before, the heating season happens in the fall. It's a good idea to check all that, furnace filters, all that stuff. So things are working as they should.
Yeah.
Less chance of problems.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so Fire Prevention Week happens every October, and this year's theme was Charge for Life. Can you tell us a bit about this Charge for Life campaign and what it's all about?
Yeah, so we've had more and more fires caused by electrical items. So batteries, so either charging a cell phone or charging a lithium battery for your vacuum, or even charging a vehicle. There's more and more electrical vehicles. Mm-hmm. So because of that, we're getting more fires. So the simple ones, say, would be charging a cell phone. Most cell phones come with a specific charger, but if that one doesn't work, you lose it, you might have to go buy another one. And not all chargers are made the same way. So you have to make sure that your charger matches your phone or tablet or laptop, because other things could overheat and fail. So we've had things, laptops, tablets, they're meant to be on a table. Anybody who's ever had them on their lap, they get warm because they need to breathe. So,
right.
Maybe the latest iPhone or Mac laptop, if it gets hot, it'll shut down. But maybe other tablets that are less expensive might not shut down. We actually had a fire. It was a young girl, had a tablet. She always used it in her bed. She went to school, put the covers on top of it. It caught fire because it overheated. So just being cautious of what you're charging, when you're charging it, not overloading circuits, all the things to do. So that was the campaign, just to make people aware of.
Yeah. I find the ones that I've heard most about is that, people are watching shows in their bed and then they fall asleep with the phone on their pillow and then next thing they know, there's a fire in their bed.
Yep.
Yeah. That's scary.
Not what you want, no.
Yeah. No. So this segues into my next topic, fire extinguishers. So we all know what fire extinguishers are, but maybe we haven't all used one. So if someone wants to learn how to use a fire extinguisher, how would they go about this?
Well, we do offer training at the fire department. We do have a simulator prop where it burns propane. And, for Fire Prevention Week, we usually set up at Home Depot and let people try it. We go to the schools sometimes, businesses. The thing is, fire extinguishers are in all buildings. They're required to be in all buildings. The only place they're not required to be is actually in a single-family dwelling. But people have them mostly. So they're everywhere, but most people haven't used them.
Yeah.
Again, they're simple once you've tried it, but if you've never used one before, that whole process of getting it off the wall, pulling the pin, squeezing, sweeping, if it's foreign, you don't know it in a panic situation, it's not probably going to go well.
Right.
So you need to practice. So we encourage people. There's lots of good YouTube videos and things, but if you ever see it offered by us, by all means, take advantage of that.
Yeah, I will say I did buy one for my home. But can you say where people could buy one? I know it's not necessary to have in the home, but where
Yeah,
did you get
again,
one?
any hardware store, even certain grocery stores like Walmart, Home Depot, Home Hardware, Mare Hardware, all the ones that are going to sell it. And for the
Yeah.
home, you don't need a big one like you would see, in a hotel, or it's all based on the risk. So for a kitchen would just be a small, 2.5 or 5 pound one.
Yeah.
And instructions are right on it.
Yeah.
Again, it's for something small.
Yeah.
If you walked into your kitchen and the fire is, rolling up and it's all full of smoke, that's not time to use it. It's for something small.
Yeah. Call 911 probably then.
Call 911, get out,
Yeah.
because, even just going into a smoky environment is hazardous, that you don't want to put yourself in that situation.
Right. Yeah. That also leads into something else. You're talking about smoky. In the summer months, I know many people in Thunder Bay love having bonfires, barbecuing, celebrating with fireworks. So if I want to build an outdoor fire pit at my home or at my camp, what's the process? Do I have to get a permit for that?
Yes, so we call it open burning. So anything open, that's not contained in the fireplace or in a wood stove or a sauna is called open burning. So that has to be approved by the chief of fire. So we have a permit process where there's certain criteria. So you have to be only maximum 3 feet wide, minimum 2 meters away from anything combustible, clean, dry wood. So certain permit rules. So it's not going to get too big. It's not going to bother people if you're using, wet wood or not burning garbage. So it's going to be toxic smell. So there is a permit. It's, I think, $41.50 for the year, and they'll come and check it out. You can apply online. They come and take a picture and make sure it fits their criteria, and then you're fine. Outside of the city of Thunder Bay, it depends on what municipality or township you're in, whether they have a permit process or not, but you just have to look up wherever you live.
Right. And I know around the summertime there's fire bans on. Where does someone find out if there's a fire ban?
I mean, if you just Google fire ban through the MNR, you'd know. People that do have permit processes, we email everybody who has a permit when there's a fire ban so they know. So check your email or check the city website. We do post it, but sometimes you have to dig a little bit to find out.
Right, yeah. And also, let's talk about barbecue. People like to grill, but how do you stay safe while barbecuing? Can you, I was looking on our website and people ask, hey, I have a porch or patio. Can I have my barbecue on the patio? So do you have any safety tips about that?
Well, the number one with any type of cooking is to never leave it unattended. So if you have a barbecue and maybe it's not clean, if you're there watching it, you can turn it down or off if it gets a little bit overheated. But if you're not there and the grease catches, that's when there's trouble. Generally, you want to be 3 feet away from anything combustible. So you'll see people that have barbecues in their backyard and the siding is melted because they kept it a bit too close, right? But again, if you're there watching it, you're going to be able to see if things are getting overheated. It's when you walk away. So very important to never leave things unattended, or definitely not leave the house. So
right. Yeah. Okay. And fireworks. Can people set off their own fireworks? What's the rules with that? How do you stay safe with that?
Yeah. So the city of Thunder Bay does have a fireworks bylaw. So they're only allowed to be set off on your own property on the certain holidays. So there's only a few a year, Canada Day, New Year's, maybe one in the summertime. It's got limited to maybe 3 or 4 a year. It used to be more.
Yeah.
So on those days, other than that, you would need a permit, fireworks permit. Like let's say you want to have a wedding outside of those dates, you could apply for a permit.
Okay.
It costs money to do that, but you can get a permit. So you see that happening. Then you need somebody to set them off for you, or if it's you need permission from the property owner or whatever it might be. So there is other ways, but if you just want to do it in your backyard, just stick to those dates, and there is the bylaw on the City of Thunder Bay website.
Okay, awesome. In the colder months, residents might want to fire up their wood stoves. are there rules with the wood stoves? I know a lot of people have gas fireplaces now, but
Yeah, I mean, the rules are just to maintain the appliance, so you can't modify it or anything like that. I mean, it's a good idea if you're going to be starting to fire up the wood stove for the first time now. You should take a look and inspect it, whether they be furnaces or wood stoves, checking the chimneys for creosote buildup. We do get a lot of fires over the wintertime because when it's really cold, all these units are working harder. And if they're full of creosote or not cleaned properly, that's when we have fires.
Yeah.
So maintaining your equipment, right? It's right in the fire code that you must maintain equipment as designed to it. So if they're saying you got to replace the filter every year, or you got to do this or that, you should be doing that, or else expect some problems.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So we'll get into escaping if there is a fire, and hopefully no one has to deal with that. But it's good to know. So smoke alarms obviously play a really important part in everyone's home. How often should we be testing these smoke alarms, changing the batteries?
Well, at a minimum, you should be checking your smoke alarm at least once a year. Hey, if you can do it monthly, even better. If you have a fire alarm system like in an apartment building or a condo, that has to be tested every month. But your own smoke alarm, minimum once a year. I mean, that gives you the early warning. So a smoke alarm should detect a fire, in about 30 seconds. We've all made little campfires, starts off slow, right? So as long as that alarm goes off 30, 45 seconds, it's still going to be a small fire. If you don't, after a minute into 2 minutes, it's usually full going, right? So if you don't have a smoke alarm, you might only hear about it when you're sleeping or something from the fire making noise, which might be at 2 minutes. Well, now you don't have that much time to get out. Where if you get the alert at 30 seconds, you got about a minute. It's not a long time, but it's enough time to get out. But beyond that, you're really reducing the chances of getting out safely. So when you wake up in the middle of the night, because that's usually when it happens, the alarm goes off, now you have to have a plan, and that's the home fire escape plan. Again, you got to think, do I have two ways out? Most common place for a fire is in the kitchen. So do I have to walk out past the kitchen to get out? Is there a back door, front door? And you just have to kind of almost practice that or think in your mind, okay, if I go out this way and there's a fire, I'm going to go out the back door.
Right.
And does each bedroom have its clear way out, not obstructed by stuff, doors not being blocked?
Yeah.
And then getting outside and call 911 from outside, not worrying about gathering your personal items, not worrying about pets, all those things, because every second you think, oh, I got lots of time. But between that 1 minute time, from a minute to 2 minutes, the fire really grows quickly.
Wow. I've heard that before, but you think about 60 seconds. That's fast.
It's fast.
Yeah. So if a fire is happening, say you have a 2-story home and a fire starts in your kitchen, what should someone do?
Well, again, if you have the early detection,
you
should be able to walk right past that kitchen because it shouldn't be that big. But say something's wrong, or the smoke alarm didn't go off, or something got removed, or the batteries got removed, you may not be able to safely get down those stairs. So then most people have cell phones or a telephone. You call 911 and you tell them I have a fire in the kitchen. I'm going to stay in my room. You close your door. Even a non-fire rated door will protect you from that fire and smoke for a time.
Right.
Our response time is, let's say, 4 to 6 minutes. So we're going to get there, or that door probably is going to keep you safe for 10 or 15 minutes. They've done many tests where they've had doors open and doors closed on bedrooms, and very little fire damage in those rooms that the doors closed. So it does make a difference. Not going to do it forever, but again, being in the city, if you can call 911, we don't want people jumping out the window if they don't have to, right? We're going to get there, we'll rescue you, but communicate that to the 911 operator, and we'll be there. Right.
So close your doors if possible at night.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I currently don't do that, so.
Yeah, it could, and, in terms of other smoke alarm rules, they haven't changed yet, but for an existing home, the smoke alarms have to be outside the bedrooms and on every level of the home. if you were to build a house today, they'd be outside the bedrooms and inside the bedrooms. Because we're talking about keeping that door closed. Many teenagers or people spend a lot of time in their room with the door shut. So if something were to happen in there, now there's not going to be any detection. It has to get to the hallway before it'll let everybody else know in the home. So we strongly recommend to put, even if it's just a battery-operated one in each of the kids' bedrooms or in your bedroom, parents as well. It's just, again, the earlier you know about a fire, the sooner everybody can get out safely.
Yeah. Talking about kids, we were talking earlier about this, but, when I went to school, I remember stop, drop, and roll. You were talking about some kind of triangle
it's all based on the fire triangle.
Yeah.
Right?
So, can you explain a bit more about that?
So the fire triangle is basically science, but you need 3 things to make a fire. So you need oxygen. No oxygen, no fire. You need heat, and you need fuel, something to burn. If you eliminate one of those things, the fire goes out. That's, again, the science. You can't have a fire. It's like we can't breathe without oxygen. A fire can't burn without oxygen. So if you simplify it, a pot on the stove, and there's flames coming out of the pot, if you put a lid on it, and then there's no more oxygen, the fire goes out instantly. As soon as you take that lid off again, and it gets oxygen, it'll reignite. There's lots of tests that work. So the stop, drop, and roll, obviously if you caught on fire, you'd stop, drop to smother the fire by getting rid of the oxygen. So if your chest was on fire and you dropped to the ground, now the oxygen is not getting to that fire, it can put it out. So again, when leaving, you want to stay low. Maybe you have to crawl. The smoke is actually even more dangerous than the fire. If you take a breath of smoke, you're not going to go much further. But if you stay below that smoke level and crawl out and stay low, you should be able to get it safely.
Wow. Thanks for these tips. Yeah. Finally, is there anything else you want our listeners to know about the fire rescue team or fire prevention that we didn't cover today?
Basically, we're there to help you, right? Whether you need assistance with anything in the home, maybe you can't reach your smoke alarm. You got a high ceiling, you're not sure if it's good. We'll come and check it. If you can't afford one, or if you're a senior, you can't get out, we'll come and install a smoke alarm for you. Fire prevention, anything. When you're starting a business, or you need a license, or the backyard fire, or you have an apartment building, or you're a tenant. Again, we're here to help you. So anything that we can do to help you and make you safer and make everybody safer, that's what we're here for. So you can call your local fire station, drop by, you want to have a tour with the kids. Hey, if we're there at the fire hall, we're happy to show you around. So feel free to come by anytime or call anytime if you need any questions or any help. No question is a dumb question.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kevin. And obviously, thank you so much to all the firefighters in this city. Obviously, you're helping everyone keep a safe community, and you do great work.
It's our pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thanks again to Kevin for joining us today. As a reminder to our listeners, please make the right call. 911 is for emergencies. Let's keep the lines clear so help is available for us when we need it. Non-emergency situations related to the fire department, you can call Thunder Bay Fire Rescue at 807-625-2103. If you'd like to learn more about Thunder Bay Fire Rescue, visit thunderbay.ca/fire. That's it for this week. A big thanks again to Kevin Anderson, Acting Division Chief of Fire Prevention and Investigation. And as always, thanks for watching the Minutes. If you want more information about City Council, agendas, or minutes, visit thunderbay.ca/council. If you want to listen to past episodes, or maybe provide some feedback, visit thunderbay.ca/theminutes. You can also find the minutes wherever you get your podcasts, as well as the city website and our YouTube channel. If you want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening at City Hall, hit that subscribe button. I'm Amy. Thanks again for joining us on the Minutes. Have a great week.